Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family, we chose this one. This is episode 166, Fast 5, Lap 8. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode's brought to you by CoolSafe, the certified CoolSafe medical cool bags for cold chain requiring medicines. Safe drug transport for patients, research organizations, pharmaceutical companies, laboratories, care services, and many more. Shout out to CoolSafe.
I don't want to offer too much of a peek behind the curtain, but when right before we started recording, you were like, "Oh, I didn't do," and then you stopped yourself, and I was like, "You just Google CoolSafe." Like I know what you didn't do, so I didn't know that there was going to be a product called CoolSafe, but I knew the Google search was going to be CoolSafe. And here we are. So CoolSafe, shout out to CoolSafe. Thank you, CoolSafe.
It's very important to have a
definitely reaching out to us and paying us for this episode and not just showing up as the number one Google. I mean, good SEO, but thank you.
I think that it's very important in a time that we have vaccines that need to be temperature maintained, that it makes perfect sense that they would want to be the sponsor for this episode.
True. Well, after the break, we will be joined by Heather Antos to talk about Fast 5. But before she joins us, Joe, extracurricular activities, what have you been up to since we last recorded?
I've been up to a lot of nonsense. Watched a new episode of WandaVision. Rachel and I, because I told you this, I don't think I said this on here though, but I figured out a way to get free HBO Max from work. We were watching some of the DC movies because we had never seen all of the DC ones, and the ones that we had seen we actually kind of liked, right? Like Birds of Prey was really cool, and I had just seen that one and Suicide Squad, and I was like, Suicide Squad wasn't great, and just in our pandemic boredom, I was like, how about we check out the DC? Well, actually what we did is we started watching Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is pretty good, and we love Gal, and we're big fans of Gal because of this, right? Obviously. And we're halfway through Wonder Woman, we're like, damn it, this is pretty good. We're like, fuck it, let's just start at the beginning. We started and we watched Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and they're actually not as bad as people were hating on them. We found them kind of enjoyable. We're watching them pretty drunk, but they're fun. The best news is that last night,
I saw this, yeah.
Temptation Island started. Season 3 of Temptation Island. And I think it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever given to my friend groups. A shit show already. There was 2 cries in the first episode. They barely even separated, and there was already 2 cries. It's looking good. They gave us the preview, the on this season that doesn't really spoil
Sure.
it, One guy's like, I definitely just cheated on my girlfriend. I'm like, cool, that's a good start. And then the next one's like, well, when we were having the threesome, and I was like, oh shit. And then there was a guy practicing proposing, and he had some ring. I was like, oh yeah, this is pure chaos. It is super delightful right now. One of the couples, she's like, I'm a professional soccer player, or she was a former collegiate soccer player, so she's like, I'm a sporty one, and all my boyfriends are super sporty. She dated a football player and a professional baseball player. I don't know who they were, they didn't mention them. They they trot out the 12 other people that are you're the people that you live in the house with, and this girl comes out and she's like, I'm a collegiate soccer player, and she's a blonde girl. So it's oh, they totally picked his type for him, right? If this guy likes girl soccer players, we got another one for you, bud. The casting in this part of the show makes me so happy. But yeah, apparently everybody else was hyped for it. All my friends are hyped for it because I get so excited for it, and I kind of just thrust this upon them. It's my favorite trash TV show. So
very, very cool. I have some breaking news right now.
Just
came across the wire on Twitter.
Okay.
Paddington 3 officially in the works.
Oh, congrats, brother. See,
Thank you so much.
I think that's an equal... I think that in the most Joey form, your love of Paddington equates perfectly to my love of Temptation Island, and that sums us up a lot, I think.
Well, we're going to have an email about that in a little bit, so don't you worry. We're going to have an email about that. So I have an update to last week. I was saying last week that I was watching Cobra Kai. I am no longer watching Cobra Kai. I had seen 3 episodes by the time we recorded the last episode, and halfway through the 4th one, so literally the next episode, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this.
It's so funny because behind the scenes, Wes had messaged both of us because the episode had just come out, and he's listening to it. He's like, Joey, I'm so glad you're watching Cobra Kai. And then you're like...
Well, also, Wes said, I never thought you'd actually watch it. Well, it's well, why the fuck would you recommend it then?
he was recommending it to me, is what it was. I'll always watch bullshit over things that I have to pay attention to.
One of my favorite podcasts I talk about a lot on here is Never Not Funny, and
Yes.
they all watch the show, and the episode I was listening to today, they spoiled the shit out of it. And I was very, because like I wouldn't have gotten it, so I would have to skip this whole chunk, but it's fine. But the funny thing is they all enjoy it, like they all have the nostalgia, and they all kind of hate the show. They're all like, this is such a bad show. Like they don't think it's good. Like it's just a weird, like, I think there's a thing with the show with people who watch it. Like I don't think people who watch it actually think it's good. I think that they love it and they enjoy it and it's watchable and there's nostalgia. And like there's this very real disconnect that like seems really widespread. I don't know if that's just people who like, like Wes or like, the people on the podcast or whatever who like watch a lot of stuff and are a little bit more discretion, have a little bit more discretion or whatever. But like, I was just like, oh man, like it is amazing how nobody like thinks this is a good show. Like they enjoy it. And that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I want to spend literally a month watching one a day on a show that like I think is objectively bad, and I don't think people would disagree, but like also that I'm not enjoying. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to. So instead, I switched over to another show that has been high on the list of people yelling at me to watch for a while.
Which was?
And I'm liking it more. I'm almost at the first season, Eastbound and Down.
Oh, man. Yes. Wow, I'm so proud of you, dude.
Thank you so much.
Eastbound and Down was one that I was pushing for you for a while because you do like Danny McBride.
I do.
Right?
I don't love him though. Like he's not one of my favorites. I like his other shows, but it's more so like
the show.
I wasn't loving it, but I had so many people recommending it to me that I stuck with it. And like by the end of the first season, like when he kind of like he goes through like a little bit of a depression, he's just like, I'm done with baseball. I'm just gonna become like a shitty teacher. Like he's just like him being like sad. Kenny Powers was very, very funny to me.
Yes.
But him just being like a monster and just being an asshole, I'm like this is
not funny. No,
you're right.
I agree with you. But the beauty of it is that he's like this jock tool bag, and that he has to deal with like real emotions of a real person. And also there's like a lot of baseball. Like I'm glad that you're watching it. That's cool.
So that's very cool. I'm enjoying that. I'm also about to finish the first season of The Haunting of. So Haunting of Hill House is almost done.
Cool.
Which is very good. I recommend that. And I also finished the first season of The OA. And so the second season of The OA, it got canceled after 2. So like if you want to have like a satisfying narrative, don't watch this because apparently it ends on a cliffhanger. Like I think I said here before. But the second season premiere, our girl Zendaya is in it. I'm just like, oh shit, there she is.
That's awesome.
And also, maybe I don't want to say the lead because I've only seen one episode. I'm gonna watch the second one tonight. But like the new, like it kind of shifts focus. And there's another lead who is the guy who plays Malcolm X in that new movie One Night in Miami, and he's a great actor. So like I was just like, oh cool, like these two people who weren't in the first season, I'm really enjoying in the second season. So I mean, Zendaya's a very, very tiny part because this is before even Greatest Showman. Like so she'd been like Disney, and that's kind of it. Like as she's transitioning to like real adult acting, I guess, whatever, right? So
not real acting, but just more adult.
Yeah, for roles. Acting for adults. So yes, that's all I've been doing TV wise, and then video game wise, I've been playing a new game called Ape Out, APEOUT, 2 words, Ape Out. It's free on Game Pass for PC. You're a monkey, you're an ape, and you have to break out of a holding cell, and you just go around smashing dudes. And it's all like over the top. Like there's this game called Hotline Miami that the same company made several years ago, or I think the same publisher maybe made. But like the whole score, it's just like all jazzy and like a Buddy Rich solo, and it's great. And like you're just going around smashing dudes as an ape, and like it's great. It's a blast. Like the game is short. It's like an hour long, and I'm playing it through a second time on a harder difficulty. But like
just
a lot of
fun
fun
and mindless. It sounds like.
And the other thing I wanted to say was I was saying last week that I was playing the game Control. I fully, 100% did everything, got all the achievements or whatever, and there are so many goddamn bugs in that game. And one of the achievements, just there's it's kind of X-Files-y, kind of Twin Peaks-y, where there's like haunted objects and whatever, and there's like all these like vending machines, and like they're supposed to get like haunted or whatever, like altered, what the game calls altered. But like sometimes in the game, they just don't show up, like there just aren't any haunted vending machines. And so it's like, okay, all you have to do is just reset your save. And it's like, I don't want to reset my save. I just spent like 40 hours, and so like I did this like very complicated like going offline and having my old Xbox have the game up and have the game loaded, and like somehow I tricked it so that I was able to get the achievement while not losing my save. Not that I'm ever going to use that save again, because like I was saying, I have the better version for the PlayStation 5 now, and I already I'm not going to go back and play the game, but I'm like, I don't want to lose the progress. And, like there's not multiple saves, so I was like, how do I like trick the Xbox? But I did it. So good. I recommend Control, even though it's buggy as hell, if you like kind of FBI, X-Files, Twin Peaks sort of like cool stuff. So
awesome. I had one other thing, and just because I'm contractually obligated, I began a run of Twilight Forever with Brian.
Yes.
And Kate Hudson.
I was on last week's episode, which is out. Well, no, how do I say this? By the time this is out, we will both be out. Both of our episodes will be out. Yes.
The Twilight Forever one comes out Friday. It is actual recording time Wednesday, and this will come out Tuesday. So I thought about it as well. It will already have been out, but yes, I began Twilight Forever with Brian and Kate on High School Slumber Party, and as always, it was a blast, and we actually talked a lot about baseball, because there's vampire baseball in Twilight.
There sure is.
And so we talked a lot about all of these things, but it was fun and just goofy, and I was confessing my love for Twilight with them. So
well, you're going to be on 5 episodes this year over the course of the year.
I don't know what the timeline.
Second lifetime. I think he just does one every like 2 months or so.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but because we don't like have like the next one scheduled yet. So first one's up. So go check that out. You guys know Brian.
Yeah, you know High School Slumber Party. And speaking of, we have a Patreon page, toofast2forever.com. Shout out to Cassie Wilson, Jake Freer, Ben Milliman, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleinman, Brian Rodriguez of the aforementioned High School Slumber Party.
Yes.
Haley Gerbies, Wes Hampton, Christian Larson, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke Hayden, Renato Di Donato, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Yes. Thank you all so very much for supporting us at the $5 level or above. Bonus episodes. At the end of this episode, we're going to announce our March bonus.
I forget
because it's going to come out. Like, I was trying to think, because we're recording this, a couple days after Valentine's Day. It's the 17th as we're recording it. The next episode we record comes out in March, and I'm just like, it can't be. I'm like, oh, it is, because it just, February's a short month, and we're recording 6 days in advance, right? So at the end of this episode, we're going to have a kind of a 2-parter, sort of, for the main feed and the Patreon feed. So if you're not a patron over there at toofast2forever.com, you're going to miss out on this bonus episode from March. And it's going to be a good one. So I'm very much looking forward to March.
I hope so.
We also have an email address, family@cageclub.me. And we've got a bunch of emails today. Jerry sent in a car picture.
Cool.
So that's good. Jason sent in a note about maybe F9 being delayed till next year, which I know he sent in via news too. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We're still waiting to see.
Yes.
But Alex kicks things off with 2 emails to begin.
Okay.
And this is what I referenced before. He says, cough, rough, through, and through. No, sorry. Boy, cough, rough, though, and through don't rhyme, but pony and baloney do. Oh. And so it's just if you want to see this is a very wordy, in a very, literate wordy, not just in like a too many words, but like it looks like the first 4 should rhyme, and it looks like the latter 2 should not rhyme at all. But cough, rough, though, and through, pony baloney. So
I like the tongue twister idea that he got you to try to say a tongue twister online.
Well, I was trying to because I knew what he was doing, because I saw don't rhyme in my periphery, but I didn't, I saw through, and then I was like, wait, I just said that. Okay, yeah, but okay, cool.
Yes.
You got me, Alex. Okay. He says, I'm just using my old tweets for the subjects of these now. Okay, so there you go.
Yep,
Twitter thoughts. Good. With Alex Ellenin. After 150 episodes and how many years of friendship, Joey's deadpan, almost exhausted delivery of a response to Joe saying, quote, you see, Bert is the host of that new show? And then Joey says, I feel like our TV watching is in completely different orbits. He says, you guys got a big belly laugh out of me after a rough week. Thanks, guys. Well, yes. And once again, I don't know how to react to the 3 minutes of you describing Temptation Island, because I don't know how to react, but it's part of the show, and so that's
yeah, it's
I
back.
Just smile and nod.
You're not gonna tempt me. The theme song is such a fucking banger too. There's like a key change in it. It's so good. It's like very, very catchy to me. But okay, go ahead. Yes, we watch vastly different things.
He says also Martha and Snoop hosted the tailgate for the Puppy Bowl in case you guys are too highbrow to watch all 3 hours like myself. They made each other cocktails, and you bet Snoop made gin and juice. Martha asked, isn't that a song? He says, it's my song, yelled Snoop with a toddler-like enthusiasm.
Rachel's cousin has recently gotten the Martha Snoop cookbook. She's been posting pictures on social media of Facebook of her making Snoop's recipes, and she loves them. And we stole one, borrowed one that she recommended, and it was really good. They're all kind of ratchety in the sense that you're not making everything from scratch, and there's definitely some shortcuts in them, but that's what makes it cool. And Snoop, I'm a big fan of Snoop's, and I like him and Martha being friends. It's such a weird odd couple. I didn't watch the Puppy Bowl, but I do enjoy every time I see an interaction between Snoop and Martha. I don't watch their show, but I just like them. So
cool. And Alex says, P.S. I've now subbed to the Patreon feed, so I no longer have to wait until Tuesday like the plebs. Yes, if you're not a patron, if you want early access to episodes, toofast2forever.com. Get it on Thursday or Friday. Last week was Thursday. This one, I don't know when. Probably Friday because it's a longer episode, I'm guessing, with Heather. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Thursday or Friday instead of Tuesday. So get on there, plus the bonus episodes, stickers, our undying love and affection, toofast2forever.com. And then Alex's second email is subject line, Joey saying, I want girl to come back, started this. So I would assume that's not an old tweet of his, but just a reference to the show.
Yes.
He says, as someone who just finished watching Titans with Minka Kelly as Dove, I've spent more than a healthy amount of time Googling her and found out who her latest beau is. So keep this in mind. He says, here's my theory.
Okay.
The voice of Eteon's a new character, but has been watching the family for a long time. He's been toying with them, using Cypher, Owen Shaw, and Braga to make their lives hell.
Okay.
He's after revenge, and he spent the best years of his life being seen as the number 2 in his beloved's eyes. She always said she had forgotten that one dreamboat she spent a weekend with, but he knew she longed for the touch of Brian O'Connor. Just before the sickness took her, she called him Blue Eyes in her confusion. He was enraged and vowed revenge. Do you know who she's dating? Because I did not. Do you know who her real life boyfriend is?
No, who is it?
His name is Trevor Noah, and his eyes are not blue. This is canon. You can't change my mind.
Oh, I didn't know that she's dating Trevor Noah.
I didn't either. I don't really like him very much.
Dude.
I don't dislike him. I haven't.
I agree. It's huge shoes to fill with Jon Stewart. I love Jon Stewart. We watched The Daily Show all the time when I was younger, like in high school age. We found it like awesome. I see a lot of Trevor Noah commercials because we watch a lot of like Comedy Central will have just like a run of shows, right? They'll just do like The Office or South Park or something, and they play like his most recent, like, you know, for the next episode or whatever, or like that week, I guess. Every time I see his commercials, I'm like, oh God, please go away. But good for him for him dating girl.
Maybe his name is Boy.
I also do really like this theory that like Eteon is being like, we ultimately want always to have very insignificant things in the Fast and the Furious become very significant very fast.
And very furious.
And very furious, yes. And that's like a main goal. So I appreciate that girl has now become like the crux of
the true sadness of it. So, I mean, in Alex's story, girl is dead. But in the reality of it is that Paul Walker is not here. So, like, if this was the case, like, you can't even realistically have, like, this revenge. Because, like, unless you have, like, Cody Walker and they CGI him, like, it just feels emotionally unsatisfying. But, like, hey, man, if that's canon to you, by all means, go with it, Alex. Go with God.
But I think that it would be the most Fast and the Furious thing to do to have that. Well, I mean, not Fast and Furious thing. Like, the most Fast and Furious thing that I would want is to have them do that and, like, have this be the payoff, but also not have Paul Walker to be able to do it. If they recast Paul Walker at the same time, I think this is probably the perfect movie.
Maybe.
As Trevor Noah.
Very maybe. No, don't recast him as Trevor Noah. That's insane. But yeah, okay. Our next email from Jerry, Furious 7 Dom moment. So I'm watching Furious 7 with Corona, and at the end, when Letty talks about her memories coming back, they really made Dom's line, "It's about time," such a moment that only a badass like him could make such a badass line.
This is weird. We're talking 5 tonight, and Rachel made us pause for that classic line. I think Nico brought it up, right? Wasn't Nico the one who pointed it out to us? I don't
know what you're talking about.
I remember everything about my father.
No, that wasn't Nico. That was Garrett, our recent guest on Tokyo Drifter. He was on Hobbes and Shaw.
That's right. Okay, yeah, Garrett brought it up. I forgot which one it was. We just cackled the whole time.
Next email from The Leftovers, from Montez, about The Leftovers, subject line, The Leftovers.
Okay.
He says, I just got, and this is something that we have talked about that we disagreed on, then Kara messaged us to be like, no, Joe, you're wrong. Jess says, I just got to the episode where you guys debate whether or not The Leftovers is bleak, and oh boy, she says. So
yes.
we had talked about this, and you're like, I don't think it's very bleak. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like the most depressing show of all time. And then Kara, as soon as she heard that, was like, Joe, yes,
it's
absolutely.
About loss.
And so Montez says, legitimately some of the best television I've ever seen, excluding The Young Pope, which Joey understands is just perfect, which Young Pope is pretty great. Also the score by Max Richter. Man, it's also where my appreciation for Carrie Coon as an actor really grew. Well, I will say, in response to the Max Richter thing, we interviewed over on John Brooks's podcast. John was on our Jacob's Ladder episode. We interviewed Liza Richardson, who is the music supervisor for The Leftovers and a bunch of other shows.
Oh, cool.
And John and I interviewed her over there. And so she, works with him. He did the score or the composing, but she helped all the like needle drops. And yeah, I just finished my rewatch of season 2 last night in my TV cycle, and yeah, still my favorite show of all time. And she says, Damon Lindelof, please make more TV, Montez.
I did like The Leftovers. Yes, and I agree with you guys. I can see how you perceive it as bleak, but in my, drug-addled, broken brain, I don't find it as bleak as some other things that I would watch.
So. It just makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense.
I know. It doesn't.
Our next email from Jerry, subject line, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Hey guys, hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Joe, I hope you did something nice for Rachel, and you, Joe, we got to spend it with some loved ones. I was supposed to propose to Ileana and said to say I didn't. Sad to say I didn't. But it's okay since we did talk about it. She loved the fact that I would want to on a cute day, but it would be good to use the money instead of a ring and use it on a partial down payment for a house. So It's understandable thinking and long-term goals.
It's true.
He says, now her cousin that was proposed on New Year's Day at midnight apparently went to Vegas to get married nearly a month and a half after being proposed to, and once again rubbed it in our faces, and it pissed me off to a point I had to walk away from a family breakfast just to calm down.
It's okay, bud. Like, you're not stealing any thunder. It's not mutually exclusive, man.
During the Super Bowl, her cousin and fiance came by to drop some food off, and Ileana's mom was like, hey, check out her ring, pissing off Ileana. We also had a ring and proposal via Zoom. Sorry about the rant, guys, but besides breakfast, I had a great Valentine's Day. So
yeah, hey, man, I'm not there. I'm not seeing it. But I hope that it works out. And the house thing is fucking smart. I'm always pro that, right? That's my big argument. I know a lot of people, my friends are like, yeah, we had this crazy proposal vacation, and then we had this crazy wedding, and then they're like, and we have no money for a house. And I'm like, come on, guys, let's get that, generational wealth going.
Jerry goes on, he says, we went to a winery called Hannah Nicole and had some outdoor music while we enjoyed a few glasses of wine. We watched WandaVision, then went back to a little wine bar, another wine bar, okay,
cool.
Called Vine and Grain, and had a couple more glasses. Says, I watched Hobbes and Shaw on Monday, and that plane scene with Kevin Hart being the air marshal always makes me laugh. The Rock's line clanging and banging.
I agree.
Epic moment from Tokyo Drift is Han. He's the moment, justice for Han. Seven's crazy, so give respect to Tom. Oh, this is a different thing. I thought he was talking about Fury 7, but 7 is crazy, so I give respect to Tom Brady, but I still don't like him.
Yeah.
I want to see him do the same thing, but with the Lions, that'll give him the GOAT status. Back to work. I gotta be fast and not last.
I agree. This is the joke. I don't know if you saw the meme, Joey. One way to get Tom Brady to never win a Super Bowl, and it's him wearing a Cowboys uniform. Like what would happen first? The Cowboys win or Tom Brady lose? You know what I mean? So it would be fun for him to just like totally bring up another team. I was thinking about this, like he should hop around, go to like the Browns and win one with the Browns. He should go to the Lions and win one with the Lions. Like he should just like do it for like all the franchises that never won, like the Texans. He should just go around and just win more Super Bowls for like teams that didn't have a chance.
He can't just single-handedly win. Like he recruited all these other people and whatever. So like, if he did win with the Lions, sure, but if he really wanted to do that kind of thing, like the Vikings, right? Where it's like they have everything. Well, yep. They don't. Yep. They don't. But like everything kind of but a quarterback for a while or whatever. Like you could do that kind of thing and just go around. But
I mean, now you have like a posse of guys that are going to follow him. So like, why doesn't he just take half of Tampa with him? Go to Minnesota for you, win a Super Bowl.
Well, because he needs to bring an entire offensive line and defensive line and defensive backfield. And so like, if there's a lot he would need to bring to Minnesota. The Vikings are not exactly like their window. They think is still open, but I think their window closed a couple years ago.
But just positivity. Have the positivity.
No, that's not what being a Vikings fan is all about. Like, they're not going to they're a mess. They're an absolute disaster, which is why I don't really follow the NFL that much anymore. Our last email from today is from Wells Lamont. Subject line: hello everybody, and then a waving hand emoji.
Hello, Wells. How are you doing, bud?
I watched season 2 of the glass blowing show on Netflix that Joe was talking about, and it was dope. I wish they would have made a bong or a pipe, but my two favorite parts were learning that the hole you heat the glass up in is called a glory hole.
Yep.
And one of the contestants' name was Shelbo, so he got a tattoo on his arm that said "sh," and it was placed right next to his elbow, hence Shelbo.
yes, that was a great part. His last name was Shelbo, so he just had "sh," and then it goes to his elbow, so he's Shelbo. There was one guy, I think it's that guy that he's talking about. One of them was very obviously a bong maker, and they didn't let him make a bong.
It's unfortunate.
No, yeah, there's another documentary that actually you might even like. I don't know if I would like recommend it to you, but it's cool. It's called like Deviant Art, and it's about glass blowing, and it's just like about how all of the great creative glass blowers right now make bongs, because it's like the only thing that is sellable, right? Because like nobody's buying like glass.
Degenerate art.
Degenerate art.
Deviant art was where like all the slash fiction like porn drawings were, like that Tumblr or whatever.
That's right. And they're saying like who was it? Like maybe Chaluli or somebody that's like super famous in the glass world is like, I always tell these guys like if you just didn't put a fucking hole in it, this is like top tier art, but they only make bongs because people buy bongs and they make, it's just like a cycle, right? I think it's very cool. I wish that there was like a bong blowing, like it doesn't fucking matter. It's all still the same techniques and awesomeness. So yeah.
Wells goes on, I would like to send you all of these, but I'm sure you don't want that, but you can't stop me from showing you this one. So he sends, I think, another one of those TikTok videos. So I'll send this to you. We can watch this after the fact.
Cool.
So I did not pre-screen it. He says, I was watching Home Improvement the other day, and Al showing Tim his mom's collection of VHS tapes the last 17 years. The first 17 years of his life. Sorry, not the last 7. The first 17 years of his life. When you see the tapes in the container, they go up to 1998. Season 2 was in 1992. Doesn't add up. Time machine? Maybe. Or maybe it said 1968? I don't know. You know, who knows? Who knows?
How high were you when you were thinking this?
He says, throwback to when I had a conversation with Eric Reed, the safety for the 49ers at the time, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, a highlight of Twitter on my old account. So I'm going to send you this. This is a picture, a screenshot he sent, when he used to be at Wells Lamont on Twitter.
Let me see. What the fuck?
So I don't know what the tweet was, but The Rock responded, said, at Wells Lamont, absolutely, brother, get a fake cast and Hollywood cameras and break that shit off like a G. Heal up, bro.
I'm assuming he's saying he like wants to bust out. I'm just making a wild prediction that Wells was saying, I want to bust out of this cast like.
I'm guessing that he had a cast, right? Yeah. He broke an arm or something, and then he's like, hey, you got any tips? And then Eric Reed, maybe he asked Eric Reed, and Eric Reed quote tweeted it, and then, yeah.
That's awesome, though. You didn't tell us you fucking got The Rock to reply to you on Twitter. That's awesome. Crazy. Yeah, very crazy.
Wells says there's subways everywhere in California. Every exit of every freeway, there's a subway. Oh, at the restaurant. Okay, I was thinking like the trains, but no.
Subway sandwiches.
Anywhere I'm ever at, there's a Subway. Do you remember when they had the 5-foot party sub? It's weird to think that was a thing. I never knew that started in Connecticut, but they definitely should have stayed out there. Ooh. Damn, that's not. I did not see that sentence ending where it ended when I started reading that sentence.
Subway's not great, man. I mean, like I don't.
Think no, it's greasy and like my stomach can't handle it. It's just like, oh, this is not. Yeah.
I mean, nobody's out here standing for Subway, right? Like that's not a. Jared is probably the only one.
Jared's not out here anymore. I can tell you that much. He's not out here standing for anything other than not being in prison or something. So.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, he's in prison. He says, if you had to choose one title style for all the Fast movies, what would you use? So here's some different options.
Okay.
The Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Okay. 1 Fast, 1 Furious, 2 Fast, 2 Furious, 3 Fast, 3 Furious. The Fast and Furious presents The Fast and Furious. The Fast and Furious presents 2 Fast, 2 Furious. The Fast and Furious presents Tokyo Drift. The Fast and Furious presents Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fast 1, Fast 2, Fast 3, Fast 4, Fast 5. I can never remember the title of 6. Okay, I finally get what he's doing. I can never remember the title for 6, so it would be Fast and Furious 1, Fast and Furious 2, Fast and Furious 3, whatever. Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. F1 of the Furious, F2 of the Furious, F3 of the Furious. Or F1, F2, F3, F4, F9, whatever. So if you had to pick one of those, what you do? I mean, like the British one we've talked about before, it's just the Fast and the Furious.
1 through 9.
Yeah.
I like F1, like, because it reminds me of, like, functions in math, right? Like, F1 of the Furious, F2 of the Furious, like, it's just, like, the next
Plus,
function.
If it was like that, you'd look down every time you look at a keyboard, you'd be like, oh, like, I'm here with my Toretto crew.
Yeah, you're just, it's like, we'd have to move all the F keys to the ASDF line so that your fingers could always be home with your family.
That's a stretch, but okay. I appreciate it. It works.
Come on.
He says, I want to open up a burger joint or start selling drugs and hand out business cards that say I live my life a quarter pound at a time. And on that note, I'll catch you players on the other side. Have a great rest of your day and peace. Easy. Well, thank you, Wells.
Thank you, Wells. That's great. I do love the burger joint. I think, come on, there has to be like a Fast and Furious themed burger joint, right?
There's restaurants for everything, right? There's got to be some kind of something.
Fat and Furious burger.
Ugh. Okay.
I don't know if it's actually a burger place or if it's just like art.
Interesting. Well, if you want to email in, if you know of a Fast and Furious restaurant in your area, family@cageclub.me, email us, let us know. or just say hi, whatever, family@khclub.me. We have a store, Too Fast, Too Forever Shop, if you want to buy stuff. I think when this episode comes out, things will be on sale again, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. I can't keep track of anything, but it's a TeePublic store. TeePublic puts all the stuff on sale at the same time, so Too Fast, Too Forever Shop. But Joe, on the streets, news about the Fast and Furious. There's one big thing that we're going to cover in installments that just started. So last night, as we were recording this, it was the premiere of the TV show Young Rock.
Which, honestly, when I saw, like, the previews, because I think there was, like, maybe, like, a commercial during the Super Bowl or something. We like The Rock, but I wasn't, like, super excited about the show, right? Like, it doesn't seem like anything that I really care about. It's, like, a really, like, it's just, like, a sitcom, and I'm like, usually that's not my speed. But, we watched it for this, and holy shit, dude. Like, it was, like, super fucking wholesome. Like, it's, like, actually, like, really, really tender. And, like, I don't know where... Obviously, we only watched one episode, right? I really liked it, and I found it super enjoyable. And The Rock is great in it, and he is in it. Because we were, like, curious about that, too, right? Not, like, the whole time, because there's 3 different stages of his life, I guess, that we're seeing. 4, because you get, like...
Modern day, yeah, and then 3 younger versions of himself, yeah.
Yes, like college, high school, and then... grade school.
Middle school-ish, yeah.
Middle school-ish, yeah. It was just really, really enjoyable, and I'm very surprised by it. What did you think?
I really liked it. What I appreciated about so the premise of the show, we talked about this last time, is that he is running for president in 2032, and it seems like, and I don't know if it's the first episode or if this is going to be the framing device for the whole show, but he's like telling a story to Randall Park playing himself as like a TV anchor, and it's like the entire show is in a flashback. And I want to say before I just do a quick sidestep that Kara sent us a news story, I think, right? Kara sent it to us. You didn't send it to her, right? She said...
No, Kara sent it to us.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says he would run for president if that's what the people wanted. And she's like, you don't say that unless you're going to run for president. It's not like people like maybe run for president. It's like, well, no, like if you're in the show, he's running for president. And she was saying about 2020, and I was like, well, on the show it's 2032, so like, get ready for a decade of this, right? So yeah, a lot of ramp up to President Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but it seems like this reality of this show could be, or the fiction of the show could be reality, I guess.
Dude, imagine using a sitcom as your jump-off point for your campaign. Not in the sense that, like, you were a reality TV host that stumbled into a presidency, but in the sense that, like, you're like, oh, this is our play to get people ready to accept the idea. Think, what channel is this on?
NBC.
This is, like, the prime coaxing for, like, people that are watching these kind of sitcoms in the middle of America, right? You remember you were like talking about like, oh, people that people were watching Big Bang Theory, right? And you're like, tons of people watch this show, but like, I don't know anybody that watches it. And you're like, yeah, those same people are going to be watching Young Rock thinking he could probably be president.
And 5.03 million people watching the show last night, which is pretty strong for a network show. Pretty strong. What I really liked about the show, other than just like, it's fun and funny and wholesome and, heartwarming, is that they do a really good job, I think, of like it's similar in a way to, like, it's not as extreme, I don't think, but it's similar in a way to like the Ted Lasso thing where like they're doing comedy from positivity. Like there are unhoused people, like he buys his car, and like I'm not gonna really spoil the thing, but like there's like these, unhoused people who like just show up and like they could be played as such jokes, but like they offer life advice and like they're just like normal, well-rounded people. And at the end, like when they have college age Rock at the University of Miami, like there's these other dudes that are on the football team that like he doesn't want to lie to, but like his dad set him up in this like whole like issue or whatever. Yeah. And so you just kind of like spin this yarn where a lot of other shows I think would be like, oh, look at these dumb football players. They're like, no, man, like I know exactly, like that's not true. Like it's just like so I feel like there's all these opportunities for like other shows, like lazier shows, to be like, oh yeah, like look at these dumb people, like they don't have a house, or like look at these dumb football players. And the show's like, no, like they're people with brains and intelligence and world knowledge. And it's just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's so, and how many times we see like shows and things that are just like tropes making fun of people because of things that they can't handle, like because that we attribute as negative to them. Then like this, you see that he just is just wholesome. And even never mind. I'm not spoiling the show. If you want something that's like super wholesome, it's a fun watch. I agree.
It's not all 100% just positive. Like it's not like a a kumbaya circle. Like there is tension and everything, but like it feels like where he's kind of taking the piss, like he's willing to take himself down a peg and like kind of portray his family as they really are. But it seems like the people outside of his family, like because his dad doesn't seem like the best person, right? Like his dad, like there's conflict there, and his mom seems like a wonderful person, but there's some kind of conflict there too. And like, but it just seems like everybody outside of his immediate family circle is just like an actual person, like a human being. There's conflict and stuff, but it all seems like rooted in like, hey, like, let's just all kind of, you know, be kind to one another.
Yeah, which is awesome. There's some good, like, hidden Easter egg kind of jokes for us.
There's one in particular that I won't spoil that
Yes.
I really appreciated. Like, he buys a car, and it's all about family, right? So, like, it's very, very much in our wheelhouse. Yeah, Working the Gimmick was last night. I don't know. I can't find how many episodes it is. Probably 10 or 13. Maybe as low as 6. I don't know, but...
I'm down. Whatever they give us, I'm going to watch it.
Tuesday nights, it's on Hulu on Wednesdays, so...
Yeah, we
you know,
watch
I don't
it
think
on
we're going to
Hulu.
spoil things, but... yeah, just check it out because it's cool. And I think, you know, we might, we reached out to somebody who is in the Rock's sphere, I mean, sort of, kind of, in a way. And maybe we'll do something about the Young Rock series when it's all done. But for now, just watch it because it's great.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. Like I said, I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't super amped for it. And when you were like, hey, did you watch this or do you want to watch this? And I watched it this morning, I was like, that's really awesome. And I'll keep watching it.
Pleasant surprise, but
Pleasant
shouldn't
surprise.
be a surprise because he's good at things, right?
This is exactly
Yeah.
what happened. Like, we put it on, I'm like, wow, man, I'm pleasantly surprised by that. And Rachel's like, what the fuck did you think it was going to be?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
fair, very
Yeah.
good point. Yep.
The final thing to do before we take a break and bring in Heather Antos, or is there any other news? We have any other news about the Fast and Furious?
I don't really think they're talking about the date a lot because it's still in May, and Jason's been messaging us about the date, and they haven't moved it yet.
The Variety article that kicked off the round of speculation was like, is this or Widow going to
Came
blink
first.
first? Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's also a new trailer with your girl Emma Stone in it as Cruella de Vil that comes out in
Dude.
May, so I don't know if that's...
I
don't know.
just saw that. I was actually going to send it to you on Twitter today because I saw it
Oh, I
on
watched
Twitter.
it. I saw it. It's great. I mean, I am apparently I'm attracted to Cruella de Vil because she's punk rock Emma Stone. Like, I'm very much into it.
You know that I'm not a big Emma Stone fan, and I'm not even really a big 101 Dalmatians fan, but I saw this and I was like, this works. I can really see it. She's doing a really good job in the trailer, so I'm on board.
There's a backlash online, including
Why?
some people in our sphere, about like, she's a villain. Why do we need an origin story? It's like, I don't know. Why do we need any movie? Just like tell a good story.
People should be able to tell whatever story they want, right? So
Yeah.
tell the story. If you don't want to see a Cruella de Vil origin story, then you
Don't watch
have
it.
to watch it. Yeah, I'm not gonna Clockwork Orange you.
Very easy solution. Just don't watch it.
Exactly. That's what I always think, right? People, generally, people like to complain about things that they could easily avoid complaining about. Like there's, yeah, it's okay.
The final thing to do before we take a break and welcome in Heather is to talk about the Fast and the Furious Minute, the Turbo Charged Prelude Minute 4. I didn't really have a great title for this. I'm my friend Bob is very slowly watching the franchise for the first time, and he's like, I'm gonna watch 2. I'm like, first, you absolutely have to watch this first. He watched, he's like, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm like, oh yeah. No, it's terrible. So I'm already like, not out of steam with the Turbocharged Prelude, but like, I feel like I have no creativity left when it comes.
I'm glad it's 6 minutes long.
There's a level of disappointment that, like, minor, that I thought we were supposed to do minute 5 today, and then when I opened the document in minute 4, I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were one step closer. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
It's only
Like, I was
6
just like,
minutes, and this
Right.
is going for infinity. So I agree with you, though. It's because it's just like
oh boy.
there's nothing happening, right?
No,
Like,
no.
Okay, go ahead.
So minute 4, silver is the new black. So in this minute, Brian gets out of girl's car at the used car dealership and sees the newspaper with his mugshot in her car. Brian negotiates with a used car salesman and buys a new car to continue his drive. Brian works on his car, completes more races, and then paints his car silver. Brian accepts money from someone, questions about that, then drives off as the minute ends, and he finds himself in Texarkana near DeQueen, Arkansas. So my first question is, who is this guy he's getting money from?
You said that he's getting money from this guy. It looked to me like he tried to pay him to use the paint bay in his shop.
Oh, and he gave the money back.
And he's like, "No, bud, your money's no good here." Is what I'm assuming. Because he doesn't sell him the car.
No.
So that's what I think happened.
I
weird.
could not explain it for the life of me.
Yeah, I guess handing money looked cool in the scene.
But like just give him money, right? Like Brian, like
I don't get it. Yeah.
I was watching the scene. I was like I was writing down my plot and overview notes, and I was like, wait, hold on. I was gonna ask, who's the guy? Like, what is Brian paying for? And then I'm like, oh, he's paying to use the garage, right? Because he's in the garage to paint the car or whatever. And then I'm like, I watched it again, and I was like, wait, he's paying Brian, or like giving Brian money at least. And I'm like, there is nothing that has happened in this minute other than like the end of a quarter-mile race that we see from above. But like, that's a different place. I don't like. There's no reason for this guy to be giving him money. How do you? Oh boy,
unless we imagine Brian was maybe working there and happened to paint only his own car in the scene that we see. And he was like doing odd jobs, and like that was like his day's work.
But like, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that like this wordless 6-minute short thought that like 1.5 long scene was enough to explain what you just said. It's like,
yes, I'm extrapolating hard. I agree.
Like what you said could very really possibly be the case. Sure, I'm okay with that. That's perfectly logical.
Yep.
But there is absolutely zero reason to think that that's true, because it's just like buys the car, fixes up the car, races the car, paints the car, accepts money. Like what? Like I don't know. Just don't know.
Yeah, because the least logical explanation is Brian was so good at painting his own car, not in his own garage, that the guy.
I've seen a lot of guys paint a lot of cars, but you, sir, I'm going to pay you because what you did was a work of art.
What if it was a self-painting car contest and Brian wins it because he did the best job?
Oh, boy. I mean, again, maybe, but like show more than one car. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Just take the shot out. Like, just take that shot out. Just like have him paint the car, then drive off. Like, it's the same thing.
I really believe now that you say it, I really believe it was like Brian does an odd job here to make some extra money on the side. He's painting cars, and they're like, okay, he should just paint the car that we have, because if you put another car in there, everybody's going to be like, why was he painting this random car? And that doesn't make any sense. So in the sense version, they're like, just have him paint his own car, because then we can keep him driving that car, and that kind of tracks, right?
And we also don't have to rent another car.
Yes. And in reality, what happens is you're like, why is this guy handing Brian money after he paints his own car? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I have no idea. What also doesn't make any sense is that this route that Brian takes, so we knew that he started in LA.
You didn't mention this at all, by the way. If he finishes in Texarkana, is he driving Coors Lights in this Skyline?
I don't know. Are you saying he's doing an eastbound and down, loading up in truck and smoking the bandit style run?
Yes. There's some. What is the lyrics is something about Texarkana.
So here's the route. So it starts in I mean, realistically, we know that he never leaves Los Angeles due to your sleuthsmanship. But
yes,
starts in LA, goes to Phoenix, which is logical. There's a highway that goes there. Goes to Santa Fe, sure, okay. Goes to San Antonio, which is like, it's kind of low, but depending on where he's going, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then he goes up to there's no major cities. Like, there's a bunch of cities, and I tried to find, there's a couple different DeQueens, but I found the DeQueen, Arkansas, because there's like the heavy line showing the state outlines. But like, going from Santa Fe to DeQueen is a little under 12 hours according to Google Maps. So like, you kind of go straight across like the northern half of Texas, right? There's just like a highway that goes straight across. You kind of cut through Dallas. It's fine. Geographically, in Texas, yep, Austin is effectively 3 hours south of Dallas, and then San Antonio is about 80 minutes south of Austin. And so you're thinking you can basically go west to east through Dallas, but Brian instead goes all the way down to San Antonio and then goes all the way up for like maybe one race, and then that's where he gets in all the trouble, and like that's where he meets girl and everything. But like, I looked, if you go Santa Fe to San Antonio to DeQueen, it adds 6 hours. It's almost 18 hours. So like, I think the realistic explanation is they don't give a shit what map they're putting on screen, but like, I'm trying to make sense of his route, and like, it's insane.
Well, he's dodging the feds, and he needs to make run money, So that doesn't bother me too much because the feds they're looking out for him. He's in the
he's
paper.
just going where the races are.
He's kind of going where the races are, but he also needs to stay like off the beaten path to like throw them because they're like, oh, he's here, he's heading here, right? And it's like a straight line. But instead, if he drives like a weird squiggle, he's less likely to get spotted.
Like a drunken bumblebee flying across the country. You never know where he'll wind up next.
Yes, exactly.
And the last thing I want to make note of before I want to hear about your signs and your cars and your car details is that I've never noticed this before in the like 2 times that I've watched this before. And I actually didn't catch it until like the 3rd or 4th watch of the minute. But when Brian buys the car, that it seems like the young guy, like I think maybe grandson, grandfather or something. Maybe
something
not
like
related.
this.
I don't know.
Yes, I think so.
But like it's clearly the car that this kid wants because he's trying to sell him another car and he gets angry that Brian buys this car. But Brian like pounding his fist on the hood of the car is like such a Brian thing to do. Like, yeah, man, you're with me now. It's like, okay. Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah. Well played. I like that. Speaking of the car, Brian buys a Skyline. So Craig Lieberman made a really like interesting Instagram post about it that I want to read because I think it's really fun. Like the tone is very funny to me. He's like, I get so many questions about this car. Honestly, there's nothing to tell. This was just one of the incomplete GTRs we use in the movie. A green tint spray was added along with some sprinkle on dust. Like all the Skylines in 2F2F, wow. The car was a real GTR. Questions like, where did Paul get this car? Can be answered simply. What you see in the movie is what the producers want you to see. There's no backstory, no hidden Easter eggs, no connection to anything else. It was quite simply supposed to be a random car dealer that had a cool car on the lot. Nothing more. And I was like, sick, Craig Lieberman. And it was very appropriate for this minute when we just spent 10 minutes talking about why Brian's being handed money for Craig Lieberman to come in and be like, it was cool. Like, that. Just the answer.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
So this fucking car dealership, I can't find it, man. I got the address number 43863. I looked that up and down California because like they're not changing the address for the movie, right? So I looked that up, nothing. I can't figure it out. Continental Auto Sales. There is a Continental Auto Sales. It doesn't look like this. It's like way in the back of a garage thing. I don't know. Possibly they moved and kept the name. I'm assuming the name was the name because they don't pay for new signage for this. We were trying to figure out next door. I was trying to use like the next door marker to figure out where this was, and there's like something restoration, and I asked you to take a look at it to see if you could read this, and then we totally changed our minds. You said it might look like it says restroom, which it shouldn't, but you said it might look like it, and now I can't not see restroom, so.
Well, I think we've explained, so I have the videos and I've chopped them up into minute-long things, and you're essentially watching them from my computer.
Yes.
And so I have the master files on my computer, so can you zoom in? So I'm looking, I'm screenshotting it, I'm doing everything with the master, but it's 480p, and it's shitty, and I can't read. I asked him, which words are you trying to decipher? And then I'm thinking, I can't read any of these words. It doesn't matter what he wants me to look. It's all blurry and far away.
I was trying to. I can't find this car dealership. So if anybody knows where Continental Auto Sales are at 43863, let us know. But I don't think we're gonna find that one. That's what I got. The car thing was interesting with Craig Lieberman just being nope. I really like it for some reason.
Anything else of note in the minute? Because again, we're finding things that I don't want to say that the directors didn't. I don't know how to insult it without being insulting, but they didn't care. So why should essentially they
Yes.
put no thought into it. So we're spending more time what does that say? Where's that car from? What's that guy doing? We're asking questions that somebody on set should have been wait, what are we doing here?
And Craig Lieberman, who was on set, told us they didn't fucking care. He just says it in the post. It's a cool car. It was on the lot. That's what the fuck. There you go. Got it.
Boy.
Nailed the
Boy,
shot.
oh boy.
Why is Brian painting his car? I don't fucking know. He got to wear a cool mask and a jumpsuit for a minute.
Yeah, channeling his inner Vominos pest.
Oh, good call. I was getting lots of lab vibes, right? For me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's
just
cool.
Quarantine contagion sort of thing.
Yeah, I have a one-track mind when it comes to stuff like that, I guess.
Is Girl the first person we see in the franchise, or the only person we see who is explicitly drawn to the family because they are criminals? He sees that she has the newspaper, and so she knows that he's wanted by the police and still helps him anyway. It seems implied that she is into him, maybe just because he's attractive, but also there's a little bit of a thrill of I'm helping a wanted felon, right? Has that happened other times? I guess in a sense Elena.
Gal? Elena.
Yeah, but Gal's also a criminal.
Yeah, but from the perspective you were saying, like, she's attracted to Dom because he's very criminal.
Yeah, it's true. I think I'm thinking more like a normie kind of person, just like a normal, like, you know, like in a rock star, like just like groupies sort of way, right? Where it's like, oh my God, Dominic Toretto, have my babies. Because I guess they don't really interact with a lot of normal people. Like they interact with themselves and cops
and criminals. Other criminals. I guess like the people that hang around Han's garage, but even they could possibly be criminals.
That's actually a weirder point. Like they don't interact with a lot of normal people ever in any regard, really. Like
unless they're
Tokyo
murdering
Drift,
them.
maybe, yeah, but like
or killing them in the street as civilians.
To
be honest, I can't think of like any. Customs agents in Hobbs and Shaw. I don't remember anybody else being on that plane.
No, they're just the woman with the babushka.
Okay.
She doesn't speak English. Nope. Maybe, or like very limited English. I don't know.
The Japanese woman that's eating the noodles.
Same actress, babushka and noodles, just the same old woman.
That would be awesome to have a through line that's just like one old woman that just plays the same old woman.
And she's the voice of Eteon.
And yes, exactly, yes, perfect.
And that's why Tokyo Drift matters so much, because she's the one. She knew everything.
The noodle woman.
All right, let's take a break and let us bring in Heather Antos to talk about Fast 5.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This is episode number 166, Fast 5. This episode's brought to you by CoolSafe. Keep your medicine temperatures ranged from +2 to +8 degrees Celsius with CoolSafe. You can transport all medicines. Shout out to CoolSafe.
Well, shout out to CoolSafe and welcome back to the show. With us once again, continuing her lap in the Tokyo Drift lap, we have someone who broke my heart a little bit with the text messages she was sending me about this movie. We have Heather Antos. Hello, Heather.
Hi. Oh man.
I wonder though, like, you know, we had tried to do our best to like keep your expectations low. Like, we know that this is not for everyone. We're like, just enjoy these movies for what they are. And I wonder if us saying this is the good one, if this set you up for failure. Because, like, I know that you enjoyed it to a certain extent, but I'm worried. I want to say right up front that I'm worried.
No, and I think that's fair. I personally, I don't blame it on you guys. I blame it more on social media, because the second I told everyone I was watching these films, everyone was like, Fast 5, Fast 5, Fast 5, Fast 5. Right? Like, That's what everyone was saying. And again, not that I didn't like it, because I didn't like it. Like, I enjoyed it. It's fine. And the longer I've been away from it, I feel like I enjoy it more in retrospect. And whether or not that's because I'm forgetting things.
Maybe.
But I also think I figured out why they're not connecting with me.
Okay.
On a grand level, on a widespread narrative level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
hit us with it.
And this comes from me just being like, my job is storytelling. That is my job professionally. It's what I do. I can never turn my brain off.
Well, I mean, that's your side job. Your main job is leading the Bilkins fan club, right?
Well, yes. That is now my main job. Bilkins for life, everyone. Fast 5 at the end in your final car chase scene with the vault and all the chaos that ensues, where again we're killing so many people.
So many civilians.
Civilians, yeah.
Cops, civilians,
like,
yeah.
What is it when Mia goes, did you guys just take out a bank, and laughs at it? I'm like, yeah, they killed people.
Lots. Yeah, quite a few.
The cord cuts a car in half, and weird physics, and all of these things, and blah, 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 blah. And I think why I can't take those bits as seriously, not that you're supposed to take them seriously, truly, but I think why I don't buy it narratively in the story is because so often those big climactic moments don't follow the rules that the film set us up with in the opening scenes. So for me as a storyteller, I'm always looking at like what are the rules of this universe that we're grounded in. Okay. And if they're grounding us in reality, when we go into bizarro physics world chaos, it's really, really, really hard for me to be connected to that, if that makes sense.
It does, and I will say it does not get better.
I don't expect it to.
Yeah, it gets way wackier for sure.
No, I don't expect it. And I had a feeling, once I came to this realization in my head, I was just like, this is what it is. This is why I'm struggling with it. But I also wonder if because I've made this realization, I'll be able to relax, I guess, and let it go in the later ones more.
Well, I think what's interesting, there is one making of video feature that I watched a while back, and I don't remember why I watched, because we haven't really covered those, and I'm trying to think of the context of why I watched it, but about the safe chase scene, and like they did spend a lot of time, and they had like different versions of the car that they were dragging, whatever, and like they had like a lot of it was practical, and like they did a lot of trying to make it somewhat believable. Like it wasn't just like a, hey, this is fantastical. Like they tried to ground it in a reality, and like we're gonna get to real wacky shit very soon.
Yes,
but like
yeah.
There is, I still think that this is still on the scale of like first movie where like we're just stealing DVD players and just driving cars to like, I'm sure you've seen on Twitter or like just like we want to go to space. Like we're not in space yet, but like people like
it's gonna
on
happen,
the scale of of like driving cars to driving cars in outer space. Like this is still closer to like that beginning side of the scale. Like it's going to pivot very soon the other way, but like I do think that there is a grounding in a reality here, and maybe it's starting to slip and slide a little bit, but I think they have not thrown the rules of physics out the window entirely. They're just kind of like teasing it, but I do think that this is still grounded in enough reality that like if you're able to get over the fact that these two muscle cars are pulling a safe that is thousands of pounds,
100%.
then like what follows is like sort of believable.
Right, but I couldn't get over that.
It's okay.
I was sitting there watching it and I was just like, how are these cars not torn to pieces?
Yeah, no damage either.
How is like nothing stripped from these cars?
It's American muscle, baby. That's what it is.
Except when the bullets get shot through, right? That's the one thing that can penetrate it is the bullets. But
before we go further about this movie, I have one very important either or question that is directly based on this movie. So as you know, at the end of this movie, they steal the safe. They all have $11 million. Spoilers. I'm so sorry. Also, speaking of spoilers, you effectively in all of your tweets are like, hey, I'm watching this movie for the first time, and this movie is crazy. And people like directly tweeting you spoilers about later movies. I'm like,
yep, all the time.
Dude, read the fucking room.
All the time.
Oh, man. I
think
about this every time.
And that's why I've kind of like toned back my tweeting on it. Our first episode when I recorded it, I told my dad I'm doing this podcast because,
right.
I've never seen them before. The whole point is I've never seen them before and I know nothing. And that's the whole point. I know nothing. He's like, great. So let me tell you all about them.
And like, it's really like a can't win situation. Because like, I know that you want to like help us like spread the word about the podcast. And I think you enjoy your time on the show and you want to like publicize that. But like at the same time, it's like you can't not do that, like, because if you
every time I do it, everyone's like, yeah, but wait about this, or then this happens, or blah 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 blah, because people don't understand what a spoiler is anymore. They have no idea.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So do I tweet and just like mute notifications? Probably. I don't know. We'll find out.
Just every tweet, like, oh, what you could do is, like I've seen this done to comedic effect. It's like only people tagged in this tweet can reply or whatever. But just
and just tag you guys.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, be like, oh, this is so nice in here. There's nothing going on or whatever, right?
So much room for activities. Yeah.
I know. I don't know, man. Like. It is like, because at the same point, like you're trying to engage community and like, I know that you're very approachable and you're very accessible to the people who follow you and like, it's awesome. But at the same time, it's like, hey, I'm watching this for the first time. It's like, well, let me tell you who dies. It's like, guy, relax. Like, let's just have like, give me like 3 months. Like after 3 months, like you can spoil whatever because I'll have seen it all. But like, give me this like very finite amount of time.
I'm talking about this movie, so we can talk about this movie and all the ones that came before it.
Yeah.
People were great, man.
I feel you, man. That's why for 4, I didn't tweet at all. I didn't tweet at all for 4 because when I was doing 2, everyone was talking about 3 and 5, all of these things. And I was just like, But then 5, I can't remember where it was in 5, but something happened in 5 where I was just like, this is the most ridiculous thing. And I tweeted, and yeah, and then it happened. I opened Pandora's box. Here we are.
Well, speaking of Pandora, I can't really transition from that, but speaking of Pandora's box, imagine you win $11 million and you join me and Joe. You know, COVID, it's herd immunity. We're able to travel freely. We go to Vegas, we go to Monte Carlo, we go to Atlantic City, we go wherever you want to go, and we go to the roulette table. And we say, Heather, here's the $11 million. Do with it as you will. Are you betting it all on red, or are you betting it all on black?
I'm taking the money and running.
No bet. I like that. That's a smart play.
Okay, I respect it.
Yeah.
It's $11 million. I'm taking it.
It makes sense. I just didn't even consider that option. I feel dumb now.
I mean, you bet it on your Gemini nature, so you're the only person on here that I have who has a red circle and a black circle. So
I could, yeah. It depends on the day. Ask me how I'm feeling when I get there.
But okay, take the money and run. Whoa, take the money and run. Cool.
Speaking of cool,
Oh my god!
What a pro transition
That was great. Yeah.
Ryan, don't lose that cool of yours. That's your meal ticket.
What was your cool?
I have 7 cool moments written.
Oh my
You
god!
have 7 cool moments?
Yeah.
Can I go with mine first?
Yeah. Like, all I do, like, the only notes that I take, really, like, okay, I wrote down a quote that I'm going to use as the quote. I wrote down that Paul Walker, I never saw his tattoo of his daughter's name, Meadow, on his wrist before, and it's, like, at the end of this movie.
Yes.
And then all my other notes are just cool moments, because I'm just like, that's all I need. Like, I know this movie inside and out. I've seen this movie 12 times or whatever now. Like, I don't need notes, but, so all my notes are cool moments. But, yeah, I have 7, so why don't we, like, Heather, why don't you go first? What's your cool moment, then Joe?
Well, I have 2, but one isn't a moment. It's just kind of like a thing.
Okay.
There are 3 hot ladies in this movie.
There sure are.
Technically 4 if we include Eva in the after credit sequence.
Oh,
so
beautiful, Mrs. Ryan Gosling. And also, I guess you could say 5 if you count the picture of Michelle Rodriguez.
that's true. Although it wasn't a beautiful picture. So
Not
True.
really.
It's like a mug shot or not.
Yeah,
It's like a security shot, a surveillance shot. Yeah.
that was just cool. That was just
Cool.
really cool because
I like that.
We still really struggle to get
Yep.
more than one in movies these days.
I will tell you, as a teaser for a future movie that I will not say what, you have not yet met my favorite female character, and she's a major character. So there's still one female character who is coming, whom I absolutely adore and think is amazing.
I star in one of the later films.
Oh.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, you didn't know?
No.
It's weird that you never saw these movies because you're in one of them.
Maybe they called it something else for me.
So it's like when they send movies to movie theaters and like they like have a different name on it, like, oh, we can't let people know what's actually in these containers.
Well,
or
it's
on
like
this
when they
flash drive or whatever.
send Marvel scripts to Tom Holland and they don't trust him to keep his mouth shut, so he only makes the same
Yes.
season.
So Tom Holland read the screenplay for The Modern Ocean, which is Shane Carruth's like unmade masterpiece, and like he said, it's the greatest script he's ever read, and like he hasn't even talked about that. So like, why are you blabbing secrets that like I don't want to know? But like I want to know about The Modern Ocean because that's not going to come out. Like, tell me about The Modern Ocean, Tom Holland. Open your mouth about that, please. What's your other cool moment, Heather?
The other one, so cool moments for me, just to kind of preface my criteria, is something that's either like, oh, that's super badass, or it's something I didn't anticipate, but was a nice little like reveal or twist. And so for me, it was when Hobbes and crew show up at the street race and they're like, you know, yo, we're gonna fucking arrest you all. And Breto's like, fuck you, it's Brazil. A weird attempt at a Portuguese accent, I guess. Cops roll off, and then we see Ludacris's character appear from underneath, and he's like, I put a tracker on that motherfucker. And I was like, that was clever. Did not see that coming. I'm rewriting the scripts, by the way. This is the Heather dub.
Well, he's a man who knows circuits, right? Like that's just what he
That
does.
is apparently, yeah.
Joe, what's your cool moment?
It's kind of basic, but it really hit me this time. Well, there's actually 2. I have 2. But the first one is when we first see Hobbes, you know, he's like doing his whole like monologue, and when he's like I need this, and get the fuck out of my way. And it's like just the way he says it to like end his sentence is so cool to me. I was like, man, I could never get away with that.
I love Hobbes's or The Rock's police voice that he has in this. I laughed so hard when he started, because this is I'm an authority and this is how authority talks, and I'm gonna have this like really like weirdly over Americanized accent almost.
Yeah. I do like his police voice. I agree.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I do want to say, speaking of that, Joe, we did not mention this. It's a minor spoiler for Young Rock, but there is the F word that you can't say in Young Rock, which is not fuck, which we talk about in this, but it's fake. Do not call wrestling fake. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. I like that part too. That was a good part of the episode. And my other cool moment, and it's something we've talked about before, but it's more of just like a cool moment for the movie. You see Dom and the guy like line up for the because they're going to get another car, right? Like they need to go get another car. Dom and Brian are there, and he's like, "Oh man, like yeah, I'll race you, Toretto." It's so cool, and like Dom will automatically win that you don't even need to see it.
Oh,
That's
you mean
how cool it is.
The street race where they get that little blue coupe or whatever?
Yeah, when they get the blue Porsche, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie's like, we don't even need to show you it. You know Dom won. Like, that's how cool he is. So, I like that. That was my other cool moment.
That was the first one I wrote down. Winning a car without us.
Exactly. And you don't even you're just like, yeah, Dom would have won anyways.
Well, and I hate to break it to you guys, but we've seen car races before in this movie. So we kind of know how they go.
Well, yeah, and like...
What's one more?
People have had issues with that. Like people like guests we've had on the show, I think, and like just people in general. Like, I want to see the races. Like, yeah, but like you know what's gonna happen. Like it just
Dom's always gonna
get
win.
it.
He's gonna cheat somehow.
Hey.
Well, I have a cool moment about that. But my second cool moment was a follow-up to that. It's just the test driving of the car to beat the cameras. Specifically Giselle, when she's like, run it back.
That was great. She's so badass in this.
Also cool, speaking of ass, just her never send a man to do a woman's job. Just like, it is a little bit
gratuitous.
Yeah, but it's also empowering in that she's able to do
she's in control is the difference.
Yes.
He's a man, which you'll understand that quote eventually. I also like, speaking of the Dom cheating or, winning or losing races, I have two different cool moments tied into the quarter mile in this one. Is Han upping the ante to $1 million quarter mile. He's like, if we fail this, we're going to die anyway, or whatever. So make it $1 million. So I think that's badass. And then even cooler maybe is Dom giving Brian and Mia a $4 million baby gift, right? Just like, oh no, man, I'm gonna let the Buster win, right? Like that's pretty cool.
I agree. And I mean, nobody's gonna fight about it either, right? Because they're gonna be like, I'm not getting my $1 million back because
they also never had it. So
true.
They were gonna lose to either Dom or Brian, right? So like, know. And my final two, both at the end of this, number one, the vault switch, which we see in the run back, like the, Giselle driving the garbage truck and like them dropping the full one off and picking up, or, the empty one. But then, of course, how can you not say the coolest moment of all, Donza Kuduro playing as they open the safe? Like, that's just it's the coolest moment in the entire franchise. It's the best franchise. It's the best moment. It's the best moment.
I agree. I love it.
It's the greatest moment. So Heather, what do you think about this movie? I appreciate the preface that you gave us at the top of the episode. What did you like things about this movie? I mean, you talked about the female characters. What did you think of Elena? What did you think of the growth of Giselle and the new mom or mom to be in Mia? So just hit us with whatever your thoughts are about Fast Five.
I liked that Giselle definitely had so much more agency in this film, whereas in 4 she literally was just the sexy lamp, right? Like she really didn't do anything. But like here we get to know, who she is, what she's about. I liked having the whole crew together. I liked getting Tyrese back in there, my boy, and seeing, everyone interacting together. Like, that was super fun. I liked the introduction of The Rock as Hobbes. Like, this is now an adversary that is equal to this crew, right? Whereas Reyes really wasn't the villain of this movie, and he wasn't supposed to be. There really isn't a villain to this movie. Right. This is more of almost like a chess match in a way.
Between the world's greatest minds.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Fast Five was Ocean's 11 meets Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
We have this very complicated task that we need to pull off. How are we going to do it? I know, people. I could almost find the scenes in Ocean's 11 and play it side by side with this, down to the vault switch, literally, right? And I think that's why the vault switch wasn't as cool of a reveal for me, is like the Oceans franchise is one of my favorite franchises. And for me, I've seen it before. I saw it there first. I love it. I think it's done better there. But it's still cool here. It's still a cool moment. This is Oceans with cars. I'm trying to figure out who is Danny Ocean now in the crew.
Danny is Dom. I mean, it's
Yeah, it
just...
has to
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Danny is Dom, but sorry, Vin. George Clooney is far more charismatic.
Well, then how do you compare Paul Walker to Rusty? Like, Brad Pitt is Brad. You know what I mean?
Brad Pitt's Brad Pitt. If Brian was eating something in every scene, I think
That's Tyrese's role in these franchises.
that is. But that's what
Or Han.
Rusty does. I don't think they gave Mia a lot in this. Like, really, I feel like they tried to, with her being kind of like the oracle navigator of everything. I wish she had more to do. I did laugh in the opening scene like they're driving Hondas. That was really funny to me. I don't know why, but I caught that it was at Hondas, and I was like, I don't buy that Hondas are keeping up with this train. But yeah, I think Hobbes is a very, very interesting adversary because he is so different. At least in this, I don't know where he goes. The way he views the world and his job and everything could not be more different than how Brian and Dom do.
So what did you think? I want to get your take on the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Shout out Nate Milton, this Rocky Maivia picture show. Also, shout out to the Cinemakers podcast on the podcast network here, because we did the first season was all about Steven Soderbergh's movies, and so we covered all 3 Ocean's movies. And the first one just about perfect, the second one just about perfect, and the third one it's okay. But what did you think of Luke? I guess we know. Is it Luke Hobbs? Do we know his name is Luke? What do you think of Hobbs?
Rebecca Hobbs. They say Luke Hobbs at some point in this
but
movie.
they don't say Rebecca in this movie yet. But what did you think of Hobbs as a character, as a
IMDb just
presence?
says Hobbs.
Okay, so what did you think of him as a, just his performance in the movie, the character? We have a lot to say about Hobbs, I think, but I want to get your take on both The Rock's performance, but also just the way that he's portrayed in the movie.
I haven't seen a lot of Rock movies, so it's hard for me to like.
Really? Okay.
I have to look, but I haven't seen a ton of his movies. Was it The Tooth Fairy? I've seen that. I've seen that one.
Interesting.
I've seen Moana. I think Moana's my favorite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film. I've seen him in Taylor Swift's The Man music video. Yeah, I haven't seen a ton with him, so I can't really compare like what his performance is like in other things. But initially when he came in, I thought like, oh, it's a little stiff, but maybe that's just the character.
I think so.
I think so too. As it went on, I was like, I think this is just the character. I think, he's trying to be that stick up his ass, almost kind of everything is numbers, black and white on paper. Whether he's one of those guys that whether or not you agree with his philosophies, you have to respect him. And he pulls that off as a character, I think, very, very well. We see he cares very much for his team. That's where you get to see who he is as a person when he loses his team, right? And he is willing to let the job slide in order to get payback for the loss of his team. I think makes him an even more likable character. And then, he gives them that 24-hour head start. Which again, respect. So no, I like him a lot. I think he's a new favorite for me.
Good. That's very important.
He's no Bilkins though.
Well, no one's any Bilkins, really.
He'll never be Bilkins. He won't.
The Rock, as we know, and this is something, we've talked about this before, I'll keep this relatively brief, but The Rock is a very charismatic person, a charismatic actor, and I feel like in this movie, the Hobbs character is just like a caricature. Like, he is just a very, he is law and order. Like, he is,
100%.
he is Old Testament,
they say it,
right?
Fire and brimstone,
Yeah.
Old Testament, yeah.
But I think he's supposed to be that too.
Sure. I mean, I won't spoil future movies. He doesn't go away. I mean, we said that, you learn more of his name, so he's in future movies, but he becomes more of an actual character. And I don't know if that's because of the writing or the performance or both or whatever, because he's been acting for a while, but this is still relatively early in his acting career. So it's been a decade since his movie came out. So if you like this Hobbs, I feel very happy.
Optimistic.
I feel relieved, yes, for the rest of the series.
Yeah,
Because,
I like him. But I think that comes down to, like he said, he is very charismatic. He is extremely charismatic. And I think that's another thing why I struggle so much with these films is I do not find Vin Diesel charismatic in any way, shape, or form. I think he is extremely unlikable.
Wow.
So when that's the face of your film and I have to stare at it in every single one, It's a lot. But same with Paul. Like, Paul Walker has gotten better for me. He's definitely improved. I still don't like him or really root for him, but I like everyone else a lot. And so I think that's why this movie is still very enjoyable for me, is the rest of the cast is so fucking charming and charismatic, and so I'm watching for everyone else except the main two players.
This is actually really cool. It's something we don't think about too much. Joey and I talk about like expanding the family and how many characters there are, and adding people, taking people away, all kinds of things. Like, this is something we talk about a lot. It's cool to hear that you maybe don't like or relate or anything to the main two characters, but you still find the rest of them charming. And I think that's something that's cool about these movies, and something that we like try to pitch a lot in the accessibility, that there's like always something for everyone. If for you to not like the two main characters, but be like, the rest of them are very charming, is awesome.
I want to, like, screw these guys, push them out of the films. I want to watch the rest of them.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what has me, like, I want to watch 6, 7, I want to watch the rest of them because I want to see more of the other guys. That's what has me, like, still hopeful. Because I've kind of made my mind on, like, I'm probably never going to like Toretto. Like, I think I like Toretto as a person, character in his own, what he is in my brain. I just really, really, really dislike Vin Diesel as an actor. That is not changing, as it appears.
No, and like, he doesn't really go away. I mean, this is like the most glass half full of a terrible situation, but Paul Walker passes away while filming 7, so like at a certain point there's only going to be one person you hate in these movies, right? So like that's
or
better.
you'll find somebody else new.
But I'd rather Paul Walker to be in them than Vin Diesel.
I don't think you're getting rid of Vin here, though.
I know.
There are a couple more movies though that like he's not in though, so like you'll have a little bit of a respite from Dom.
Yeah, it's I like the idea of Dom a lot. I really do like the idea of him, and what he stands for and all of that. It's just, unfortunately, I'm not a Vin fan.
I get it.
It's all right, yeah.
What did you think of Elena? Wait, actually, do you know who that actress is, either as an actress or as a human being?
I am looking at her IMDb page right now.
Elsa Pataki.
Yep, Elsa
is
Pataki.
in real life married to Chris Hemsworth.
I thought
she is
I recognized
Mrs. Thor.
her. I thought I recognized her, and that's probably why.
What did you think of Elena?
I wish they did more with her.
Okay.
I think. I thought she's a very talented actress that wasn't given a lot to do.
I think she does have actually more of a complicated personal narrative than most other characters in the franchise.
Yeah,
like she actually has like decisions to make.
A very understated performance,
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked her. I really liked her performance. I wanted to know more about her story, where she comes from, like that whole moment with her and Vin in the alleyway, and he's like, "I know who you are." And all of that, I thought was very intriguing. Bringing it back to Hobbes' character, him picking her and why he picked her was very interesting. Her motivation to go into the Force after what happened to her husband. Clearly, she's a very strong woman. That, in and of itself, makes me want to root for her and follow her story and see where she goes.
I think the scene between her and Dom, I know that you hate Vin Diesel, but I think the scene between them at her apartment or at her
that's a good scene
favela.
Yeah.
Like for both of them, I think it's a really great scene.
I also too, what I like so much about her, they bring to the front, right? They do this nice red herring of like, oh, did he pick her just because she's pretty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have the nice smile, and she right away, she's like, I don't have a good smile. He picked her because she's smart and all that other stuff. And
the only one not on the payroll, yeah.
I really, really like that, that was clever.
Hobbes does like interesting things like this. We always thought the like the compass thing, right? He's like the moral good, right? Mm-hmm. When he starts, he's just trying to be like neutral good.
No, like in the Dungeons and Dragons thing, he's lawful good.
He's lawful good.
Upper,
That's right. That's
upper
what I was
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's lawful good. Brian's like chaotic good.
Is he good though? Is the question.
I think he's like. I think Brian is
just
like
chaos.
I wouldn't call him chaotic neutral.
Because that's the whole thing. It's like, we're rooting for the criminals, right? Like, we're rooting for the bad guys in these movies. And so it's hard to actually, like, the Hobbes character is so firmly, like, he has
good.
one
He
mission,
wants to
and
do
it's
it, yeah.
to bring in the bad guys, right? And so, like, but Brian, it's like a little bit murky. Like, they're stealing, but they're stealing from bad guys, right? So, I don't know.
They're stealing from badder guys than them.
Baddest guys.
No, I'm just saying, like, in the scale of bad guys, they're just robbing from more bad guys. different bad guys than themselves. When you were talking about the scene with the necklace, I thought that was really funny too. And because we watched it for the minute, I was like, "What the fuck is on her wall?" This time when we were watching it, it's like this weird like sticks that are just like hung up her wall, but like laid parallel, like horizontally. She just has them stacked on the side of the wall. I don't know what the fuck this is. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Joey?
No, but we will find out in hundreds of episodes.
Years. Yeah. It's like very interesting interior decorating decisions that existed in that house.
You know what I wish happened that I realize didn't happen?
What?
Now that I'm thinking about this in the film. And I remember thinking they were going to do something about this in the movie, and then I don't think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know how, like, obviously one of the central themes is, it's all family. You look out for each other, like blah, 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 blah. What's Reyes's top crony's name, that scrawny dude?
Oh, I have no
with
idea.
the beard. You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know that character's name.
Yeah, he might not have had one. Who knows?
He probably didn't. You're right, actually, yeah.
He might not have had one. Atypical bad guy, though, right? He wasn't like the big, huge, scary dude. Like, he was kind of scrawny. But you know how, like, in the opening scene, like, he shot his own guys when it was, like, that car moment? There was this moment later on, I can't remember what exactly, but like I think it was with Dom or Brian or something, where I don't know, I just wanted it to come back where like Reyes found out that his scrawny top dog killed his own players, and like that was an issue,
Turned
and that
on
would
him?
be I wanted that to be
Ooh,
like a
that's
thing and like a
interesting.
theme, because like that's such a strong theme in all of these stories, and especially in this movie where we see Vince and we see his betrayal and we see like how Hobbes will like, you know what, I'll throw in with you guys because they fucked up my family, and so I'm gonna help you protect yours. Like, it would have been like such a cool thematic play to do something with that, to have that reveal, because at the end of the day, like Reyes was kind of, again, he was kind of like a fake villain for the movie. They didn't really do anything with him at the end. It really wasn't a big, like when they steal the vault in Ocean's 11, it's personal, right? Like it's it's a personal thing. And it means something. And like, I feel like had they added some element like that with this, it would have made this movie land so much better for me.
I think in the greater scheme, they are just essentially Robin Hood, I guess.
No, 100%. And that's what this feels like, and that's great, and that's not bad, it's not wrong, but like I just remember for whatever reason when he turned on his own guys, like that really stuck out to me as like this is something that's going to come back later, and then it didn't, and I feel like it would have been really impactful to the theme of what these films are.
For us watching this lap, Tokyo Drifter, and us talking about that movie and talking about like the jockeying for rankings and position in the Yakuza, that's a theme that we don't really ever see here, Joey. There's a hierarchy of bad guys in these movies, but none of them are ever like trying to usurp the other one.
Are you talking within one movie or from movie to movie?
Both. To Heather's point, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like the the bad guys turn on each other, right? Like it's always so binary of like our bad guys versus the bad guys, right?
Well, I think it's like, in a certain sense, it's the same thing as like Marvel. It's like, who is the one person who thinks that they're like smarter than Tony Stark? Like, who's the one person who thinks that they're smarter than Dominic Toretto? And I think the closest we got to like a fake out, like in that like way, like, oh, I'm gonna take over my boss or whatever, is like the Campos and Braga thing from 4, but like even that's not really true, because like it's the same guy.
It's the same guy, yeah. He's not trying to he's not jockeying for position, is what I'm saying.
And like, I don't want to spoil later movies, of course. Like there's a little bit of that kind of at play, but like even within that, they're not overstepping bounds. They're all just parts of a whole. You know what I mean? Like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Reyes has no idea who. Like, I mean, he might know who Dom is, but like he doesn't give a shit. Like he's just like stacking his money and just like running Rio.
Yeah.
So like they target him. Braga, it's they get to Braga because of Phoenix killed Letty, right? So like that's kind of personal. So like
no, Braga felt way more personal, 100%.
Yeah.
In so many other things that we see, like in so many other things, like if you have like a criminal organization, they're gonna be trying to like one up each other, right? Like
within
it never
the organization, yeah.
Yeah, it never like exists in harmony. So like I'm like, okay, let's run with fucking Heather's idea here. Is this a movie that we haven't seen yet? That there's gonna be like two bad guys fighting each other?
It seems a little bit like the villains in Hobbes and Shaw, and I will be vague about that.
Okay.
I think the villains in Hobbes and Shaw are the closest to that. Like I think that there is like there's the possibility for that at play, and maybe that's just because we have not seen that's the only time that thing has ever happened, right? Like that's the only time that those people have ever been here.
Yep.
But I can see like the villain in Hobbes and Shaw jockeying for position up. You know what I mean? Like it's the same kind of like I can see that like
it can happen, but it hasn't happened.
We don't see that within the Toretto family, really. Like everybody knows their role, and so I think we're facing off to a certain extent with crews and groups of people as professional as they are.
No, for sure. I think, and I don't think there necessarily needs to be like jockeying within the crew, but I think something that would be interesting is to have the dichotomy between Toretto's crew is a crew that like looks out for each other. You know? They will risk their lives for each other. Whereas in the villains, that we've seen so far, that's not the case in any of them, in any of the movies.
Well, you will see that a little bit in 6, and I think kind of sort of in 8 as well. So like that's and maybe it's not to the extent that you're going to be thrilled with, but like they do explore that a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what I was kind of like looking for to be, like it's something where because these guys don't look out for each other, that is their downfall and things like that. And like there could be some really cool thematic plays.
I was fully sold. I'm in it. Now I'm thinking about it too.
Positively Shakespearean. Heather, any other thoughts, any other notes, any other things that you loved or hated or wanted to bring up about Fast 5?
Speaking of Reyes, just right off the bat, I liked like that fucking James Bond torture scene in these chains. Except nothing happens. They're just hanging there. And I kept waiting like for something to happen. And I'm like, no, this is all for show. It's just talk. Oh, that was it then. Okay. Is it just me? It could just be me, but Vince felt like he was in an entirely different character in this film.
He does feel vastly different than the Vince we get in 1.
Yeah, yes. Like he feels, like an actual character in this one, not a caricature. He was a caricature in the first one, but obviously it's been several years and the actor looks different and yada yada yada, all of these things. But I'm just like, oh, this is a human being.
Yes.
Well, I think to a certain extent, like he's mellowed out and like he's lived
life. He's a dad now. That changes everything.
I think a lot of the people in the first movie, like they're kids, right? Like we talked about, I think in the episode,
for sure.
Like they're all 23, right?
Well,
like it's crazy.
I think also too though they had to because he dies in them and they had to. I know. I'm sorry. I know you're only watching these for the first time
after we record too. Like I haven't seen this one yet.
He dies, and so we have to make it matter that he dies, right? We have to make you care about him and feel for him. So we're going to reintroduce you to him in this film as he's a doting father just trying to take care of his wife and child. And he's doing all that he can to do that. And he's looking out for Mia. So we have to make you care about him so that when we kill him, you're sad.
Yes.
I wasn't that sad, though. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you don't really care about you didn't like the first movie, so why would you like a character from the first movie,
He was
right?
the worst one in the first movie.
He's pretty bad, yeah.
And also in this one, I'm just like, yeah, you fucked up.
You didn't smile when he just says, Mia, Buster. Like, it's just, come on. It's a great character moment. It's a great character moment.
Not gonna lie, I did not.
It's arguably the finest piece of cinema from the 2010s. Him saying, Buster.
Agree to disagree.
Joe, did you have any other notes about this movie? Anything new that you saw this time? Aside from the stuff hanging on Elena's wall?
The fucking weird Elena's wall shit sent me. No, I didn't. That I brought it all up as I was talking about it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Heather, any other last thoughts, or do you want to play a couple games?
Let's play some games.
First up, this ain't no 10-second race, a.k.a. Boy Do We Have a Podcast for You.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Come and check out our show. Yeah, yeah.
This is where I go on twitter.com, a.k.a. the Bird app, and we find somebody who might be interested in the podcast, and we tweet at them, boy, do we have a podcast for you, and they get, if they like, or they reply, or they retweet, or whatever, scoring system, so on and so forth. So Heather already sent me her tweet. I have hers. I have mine, too.
Oh, damn.
So, Joe, while you find yours, I will review last week.
Please.
I found, oh, right, Pia Josephson at Principia. This is a spoiler from Fast and Furious 9. It's a quote tweet of that picture of John Cena in that pink convertible, which we later would find out was a Super Bowl commercial, right? For Mountain Dew, that new Mountain Dew flavor, right?
And I see that Mountain Dew flavor everywhere now.
I've heard it's good. The melon one.
I hate Mountain Dew.
I feel like when I think the word melon, I don't think Mountain Dew. So I would say this probably like doesn't taste. It's just like sugary melon. So like, give it a shot. I mean, if it's good enough for John Cena, I guess the question is, if I drink this, will I look like John Cena?
Probably.
If so,
probably.
I'm going to buy it right now.
Probably.
I hear that.
I said, this is amazing.
Works.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Of course not. Pia was never going to respond to that. There was no interest. There was absolutely no way that Pia was going to respond to that. But Joe here, this was big.
Go ahead.
Joe found Michael Roche at BatQueen5801. Happy birthday to at Greg Sipes, who, if you'll recall, played Dwight in Fast and Furious 4. The voice actor who played Beast Boy in Teen Titans, Michelangelo in TMNT, Danny Rand, Iron Fist in Ultimate Spider-Man, and Kevin Levin in Ben 10 Alien Force. Have an awesome birthday, my dude. And we said, you forgot his best character of all, Dwight from Fast and Furious. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. And we got a random like. I don't know who that was.
Yes.
But Greg Sipes, Dwight himself, also liked the tweet and also replied and just said, rad. So Joe gets 7 points. I think this is the first time,
Dwight himself.
This lap that we got points. So Heather, it is possible. It's very possible.
That's awesome.
So Joe goes up to 45. He is at the Donald Trump of scores right now.
Yeah. And Dwight himself, the footman, the footy foods man,
footy films man himself,
the footy films man himself,
the fruity foot man, Dwight knows about the podcast.
Exactly.
Shout out Greg Sipes.
Yeah.
And then Heather, you found AJ and then some emoji that my Windows machine is not showing at 29 Homicide. Fast and Furious 9 will be the best movie of 2021. Mark my words. We said taking the box office 1/4 mile at a time. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing. Heather, we got to get you on the board. We got to get you on the board because you are at 0 through 4 episodes, unfortunately.
It's all right. No one likes me. It's fine.
Very true. No one does like you. Just check your Twitter. No replies, no likes, no retweets,
Nothing.
no engagement whatsoever.
None.
But can you please read off the tweet that you found for this week?
Absolutely. So it's by Jen D'Angelo at Jen Likes Pizza, and it's a tweet from yesterday. And her tweet is a quote tweet. So the original tweet that she is quote tweeting is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it's "Bring your fanny packs. Very excited for you and your families to join us tomorrow night for our season premiere of Young Rock." And Jen says, I wrote on this show, and if you attended my lightly and elegantly Fast 5 themed wedding, you'll know how excited I was to do so tonight at 8 on NBC.
So
Boy,
I'm going to, I already liked and retweeted it. I'm going to follow Jen D'Angelo as Too Fast. After this is over, I'm going to, ask her on the show. But Heather, how would you like to customize this tweet? Or do you want to just send the traditional, boy, do we have a podcast for you?
Let's send the traditional, boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Cool. Well, Jen likes pizza.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
I also just want to know how you have a Fast 5 themed wedding. Like, I'm
what
very
was the theme?
curious.
Vault?
If she walks down the aisle, or
To
if
Danza
their
Kuduro.
first dance is Danza Kuduro, that's a good start. Let's see. What else could you do for a Fast 5 themed wedding? I mean, yeah, like you could just decorate the hall as a vault.
I'm actually going to respond to her, and I'm not going to interact with your tweet because I don't want to, influence anything.
You cannot bias this very scientific experiment.
I'm
Actually, I mean, you could. Actually, it might help if you do. It's probably a good thing if you do.
But that's not fair. I don't want to throw anything. I just
Heather, The game is not about getting points. The game is about people finding our show and listening to our show. So
No, it's about getting points and doing it fairly.
Okay, fine.
No, but I need to ask her. I need details on this wedding.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, it could be she could have gotten married in Brazil, in Rio.
Did she have the cross necklace, the hideous cross necklace?
Maybe she could have had speaking of crosses, like a Christ the Redeemer statue at her wedding.
Oh, that's true. She got a street race and won a Porsche at her wedding. That would have been good.
I don't know.
That would have been cool. It's a street
we got a notification. I thought it was Jen liking our thing, but
I liked
Heather liked the reply. So
I did like it.
All right. I found just in at Heisenher. Fast 5 is on Sci-Fi. It's my favorite Fast and the Furious movie.
Ooh.
Ours too.
Boy, do we. For you.
Cool. Joe, what you got?
It kind of applies, kind of doesn't at all.
As most of your tweets in this game do, and you are
No,
winning,
this applies more than most tweets, but you'll see why. Okay, hold on. It's from Elliot. The final boss of P5 is capitalism at Selkie_AU_lover.
What a name.
It's 2 tweets. It says, whenever I watch another Fast and Furious movie with my roommates, I must immediately figure out if I want to incorporate anything into Street Racing AU, and unfortunately, the one we watched tonight makes me want to write a whole entire sequel to this fic that's only half done. They say Fast and Furious, the 4th one, except the fridge girlfriend is Akira, and he's not actually dead. Goru and Ryu are on opposite sides of the law and infiltrating the crew of the person responsible for his death, and also they make out. And then Akira isn't dead, and they kiss him too. That's the tweet I sent, because boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Well, I'm going to like and retweet both of these.
Okay.
Joe, what would you like us to say to Elliot? And also for people listening along at home, AU is alternative universe in the fan fiction world, so...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Duh.
We would also like... I don't know.
We would also like to see Akira in the Fastiverse.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was trying to get at and couldn't nail down. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to take half the points if Elliot responds. So.
Perfect.
And I'm going to take the other half because I mentioned Akira. What was it, last week or
Joe,
the week
I am so
before?
sorry that you were out of points. So like if you know,
Damn.
Heather and I we claimed all your. We've never done this before, but I mean,
Dibs, shoddy.
Sucks to suck, I guess, man. So.
It's okay. I'm riding that fucking Dwight wave for a while there.
Yeah, that's great.
Well worth it. The final game to play, as we have been playing with Heather every episode, is Dude, What's My Car?
Dude, what's my car? What's your car, dude?
So this one, we're going way back in the archives. One sent over the summer from Nick Burris in an email that he sent about his truck.
Okay.
And this is something, he says, my hood ornament painted to match my shifter. These are the real versions that you can use for Dude, What's My Car? They're all supercharged. They're very popular to modify. Love them.
Okay.
So if you remember back, and I would not have been able to describe what his hood ornament or his shifter was, but as soon as I told us, I was like, oh yeah, I remember very vividly
the email.
Seeing this. Yes.
Yes, I remember the email as well, but I don't remember off the top of my head now. And I think he has like a Fast and Furious sticker somewhere too, or like a something on the truck. Okay,
so this is an American car from the 40s.
From the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
It's coupe.
So he sends 3 pictures. 2 are black, 1 is red. 2 of them have flames on them.
Do they still make them?
No.
They were
stopped
made from
making
37 to 42.
in the 40s. Yep.
Damn.
It was either a sedan, a coupe, a station wagon, or a pickup truck.
Oh, you could get just the whole fucking gambit.
And
we just had
they're
the whole
assembled in Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, interesting.
Shout out to Alex Ellenin from the greater Ohio area. I don't remember where in Ohio he lives, but I know that he's in Ohio somewhere, I think.
Okay.
They are like Dom's dad's Charger in that they have the exhaust on the engine up top. I don't know how to describe this because these are all so like wildly modified. Like if you saw one of these cars driving around in 1941, you'd be like, "What the fuck? Like where's Marty McFly?" Because like it does not look like it's of the era. Like people have tricked these the fuck out.
Is it?
It kind of looks like a Volkswagen Beetle a little bit, but like
interesting.
If you patted it on the head too hard and it like gets smushed down.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you that.
Thank you so much.
I'm guessing it's not Ford if it was assembled in Ohio, or is it Ford?
It's not Ford.
I will tell you. Okay, here's a very big hint. It is a manufacturer I have never heard, but the manufacturer is also the title or half of the title of Nicolas Cage's new movie.
Oh fuck!
I did not know where you were going with that, but
God damn it! Not Packard? No.
No.
Fuck. I just looked at the title of this movie, too. Rachel just said something about
And
it.
by the way, Mike and I put out an episode about it over the weekend, so if you want to check out our episode on blank blank,
Oh, fuck.
check out cageclub.me/shows.
It's also a slang term for male genitalia.
Uh-huh. That's actually, that's enough of a context clue with
Really?
somewhere in your brain knowing what the Nicolas Cage movie is called, like seeing our tweets about it or whatever. I would imagine it's in your brain somewhere.
Dick something?
Nope.
The famous auto manufacturer Dick.
I don't know. I thought like she was making some kind of pun that's like it's like Richard something.
No.
No,
It's slang for
literally-
it's slang for a penis. It's slang for a penis.
Yeah.
It's just
Also a male name, slang for a penis.
Oh man.
'Cause
Okay.
now he's gonna overthink it.
the model
Okay.
is almost a nationality, like almost an adjective, but it's a pun.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
So what country is it made in?
Americano?
Close.
No, that's not a pun.
No, it's a pun. It's a pun on the fact that it's a vehicle.
Americar?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then half of Nicolas Cage's new movie.
That's also slang for dick.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's a two-door coupe. Or I guess is that what a coupe
The
means?
Willie?
Two doors?
Willie?
Yes.
Willie's
Oh.
Americar.
Yes.
Oof. I was going through like dick slang men's names so hard.
You're welcome
Emphasis
for
on
that.
hard. Thank you. It was great. No, that's how I got there. Damn. Okay, the Willie Americar. Let me see.
Willie's Americar, plural, or not plural, but like possessive, but without the apostrophe. The Willie's Americar. This is a 41 Willie's. This is a very highly modded
never
car,
heard of-
apparently.
I've never heard of a Willie's before, but these are cool.
But do you remember like his shifter that looks like, or the hood ornament that looks exactly like this, like just like it's the Americar?
Yeah, it's really, really cool. There's like a whole bunch of these shows that make these like kind of modified 40s kind of car, like very American Graffiti, right? Is it the same time frame as American Graffiti? Like, does Milner have a car that's from the 40s? I think so, right? That tracks. 'Cause I think it's in the 60s.
I think so. I think that sounds.
So I'm looking right now on the IMCDB, the Internet Movie Cars database, and
Yes.
sorting for the Willy's Wonderland. What? Not Willy's Americar. Hello. Shut up.
Willie's
Shut up.
Wonderland.
That's a Nicolas Cage movie. But the Willy's Americar, in the movie Hot Rod from 1979, it has a 5 stars. So apparently it is like the star of Hot Rod.
Okay.
But it's also been seen in Family Guy. Have I heard of anything else? The Maltese Falcon has one of these. TV show Archer has one of these.
Oh, interesting. Archer? That's weird.
So both that and Family Guy animated versions of this. The Family Guy one is it's the pickup truck. But yeah, it does not look like it was in
Just Hot
American
Rod.
Graffiti, but just, it's been in like 24 things.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the car in American Graffiti. It's just of the same exact time, I think. I was trying to figure out if like John Milner had a car from the 40s, and that kind of sounds right to my brain.
I mean, I think the closest thing we've probably seen to this car is the car in 2-lane blacktop, right?
Yeah.
That old Ford, that old ass Ford.
Yeah, the Ford.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for joining us
Of
for Fast
course.
5, continuing your ride-along lap in the Tokyo Drift lap.
Woo.
So now, very important homework, okay?
Okay.
Fast and Furious 6, the moment the credits begin, stop watching.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's an after credits that I can't watch.
It's not even after credits. It's like probably 30 seconds into
Okay.
credits. Like it's very early.
Immediate. Yeah, that's right.
After this movie, we correct the timeline,
Oh,
but
Tokyo
the
and all
credits
that
scene
stuff. Yeah.
spoils the end of 3. So
Okay.
6 and stop as soon as the credits roll.
Okay. Is there any other like prequels or any
Nope.
of that other stuff? So it's
That's
just
it.
6. Okay.
This is
cool.
Just
the goofy fun time part of this one. That's it.
Correct.
Sweet.
Featuring the newly canceled Gina Carano, but she's great in this movie, so,
Is
Yeah,
she still a
true.
horrible person in real life?
Yes.
Yes.
I always called her bootleg Ronda Rousey, and I would like, Joey, I will accept my formal apology
No.
whenever
No,
you
no,
would
no, no,
like
no.
to
No.
send it, because she is bootleg Ronda Rousey.
One of them can act. One of them cannot act.
Yeah. One of them is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
speaking of the Oceans movies and Soderbergh, check out Haywire starring Gina Carano. I mean, so I had somebody like a review of mine of Haywire over the weekend, and I'm like, oh, this dude, like, and I saw he like just like, so either one of two things happened. Either he was just watching Haywire, or he's like a Gina Carano defender, and he's like, I'm gonna like
Oh,
everybody who
yeah,
likes this movie.
that's-
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
That's probably more likely what it
I
is.
think
I'm
so,
really
too.
sorry to say that, but given what my internet activity was this past week, I'm gonna say that's yeah.
Maybe.
Ugh.
But, okay, before we get there, though, before Fast and Furious 6 coming out on March 9th, 2 weeks from today,
Yes.
Joe, you and I have a double header next weekend. So on the
Double
feed,
feature?
on the main feed,
Double feature?
going back to 1978,
What are we doing? I know what it is.
get your yellow jumpsuit ready because we are going to watch Game of Death,
Yes.
the Bruce Lee movie.
So fucking excited.
I don't think I've ever seen. I'm sure I know of it. Like I've seen probably fight scenes from it, but I've never seen it in its entirety. So
Really?
Really?
Okay.
I just watched. Yeah, there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. I've seen 3,500 movies or whatever according to Letterboxd, but there's big ones I have not seen. So Game of Death, I will see for the first time for next Tuesday. But then after that, we are going to do a Patreon bonus episode exclusive to Patreon.
Yes.
For a kind of, I don't know exactly, and I did not look this up because I kind of want to be surprised by it, but it's like a spiritual sequel directed by Justin Lin called Finishing the Game. So it came out in 2007.
Finishing the game.
So this is like a sort of, I think it might be comedy. I don't know what this is yet. It's going to be a Patreon bonus episode. So on the feed, the main feed next week, Game of Death, and then we're going to do a bonus episode about finishing the game.
Dude, Game of Death is so good. God damn it. Now I just want to do like 50 other Bruce Lee movies. This is a good one though. So I'm glad we get to watch. I'm glad we get to watch a Bruce Lee movie. Bruce Lee was like one of the movie things that I would watch with my father when I was a kid. Like a lot of people were like, "Oh, yeah, me and my dad would watch Star Wars." Like Bruce Lee was kind of along those lines for us. So
Well, I will say we're not doing any more Bruce Lee movies this lap unless he's like in a movie that I don't know about. But there is stuff coming up that you don't know that we're doing because I mean I just have this whole master spreadsheet that you have access to, but you don't look at.
Yes.
And there's some really good stuff coming up. So I'm very
I like
excited
being
about
surprised.
This.
It's more fun when I'm surprised about it. So
I mean, I could do our. So Heather, when we did the Fast and Furious Minute, we have this whole document which is available on our Patreon, and like it's like a 255 or 256 page document about the first movie alone. Like literally everything you possibly want to know about the first movie is in this one document.
Everything.
There were certain things like when I was like, oh my god, like when we found out that the woman in the Ferrari passenger from the first movie was also in Gone in 60 Seconds. Like I was like, I need to like redact this. Like it's like a government document because like I don't want Joe while he's doing his notes. I don't want him to see this. So, like, I could go on to our recording document and just, like, redact a bunch of stuff. But, you know, it's important for Joe to know, like, what we're actually talking about, like, for the next episode.
Yes, that part is good, yeah. I wish we should do a grab bag episode where you get me to watch, like, 3 movies and then you spring the one that we're actually doing on me.
Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. I could do that.
No. Sounds terrifying.
We're not going to do that. But yeah, so next week, Game of Death and finishing the game over at toofast2forever.com. But Heather, thank you so very much for joining us once again. I saw on Twitter that we had a very big monumental #1 day recently. So what would you like to plug, that or anything else?
Yeah, so today, the day that we're recording, February 17th, is New Comic Book Day, and Savage #1 is out today, which is my first new #1 of the year. Basically, it's about a kid who was raised in an alternate dimension with dinosaurs, who is now back in modern day London. The dinosaurs followed him back. So it's cool and fun and crazy comic book craziness. Check it out, please. And yeah.
I'm excited. I have to go grab a copy tomorrow if it's not snowed.
Oh yeah, we're getting another 8 inches of snow
We're
here or
supposed
whatever.
to, yeah, it's supposed to snow all day tomorrow, so be safe, everyone.
So Friday.
Super cool.
I dig my car out. I'll go get one.
Is it available on Comixology?
It is available on Comixology, so if you're a digital reader, you can check it out. Just search Savage, Savage, or look up Valiant Comics and check out everything that we publish.
Awesome.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Fast 5. And it's all downhill from here. For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, you can go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFast2Forever, or at TooFast2Forever on Twitter and Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page with the upcoming Finishing the Game bonus episode at TooFast2Forever.com. Check out our store at TooFast2Forever.shop, and come back next week for Game of Death, starring Bruce Lee. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And that was Heather Antos, and we'll tell you all about it.
See you.